38-year-old lesbian restarting YouTube and trying to reinvent my life. I say restarting YouTube because I already have a YouTube channel. I'm just not posting there a lot or at all. I have this desire. I've reached a point in my life that I want to find meaning, purpose on what I do and what I say. And I think the way that I can contribute to that is by using my skills, my communication skills, and my voice, my life experiences. Because the more I think about this, I come to believe that we do find more purpose and meaning in our lives by helping others. Maybe this is kind of egoistic, I don't know. English is not my first language. Trying to do my best here. I truly think that we find purpose more often as we age. Help others if I offer my service and help. Maybe you know what I mean when I say that helping someone gives you the best feeling in the world. This feeling of fulfillment that you are contributing to someone's well-being, to someone's getting to their goals. I don't know, anything that might help somebody move forward in their lives and their jobs and their experiences going through life. This is kind of an egocentrical, but what isn't? And at the end of the day, it helps someone or the planet. If I feel good by helping others, and I will always mention the planet because, well, we do live in this beautiful round place called the Earth, and it's our home. If I feel better by helping others, if it's the best feeling in the world and I can make myself feel like that, why not do it? Even if it's egocentrical thing. It's to fulfill me, but it also helps others. It's a loop. I help others. I feel good with myself by helping others. It's a full circle thing. My life and my career, I've come to conclusion that not this year, but a few years ago, that working a corporate job or working for the corporate world no longer aligns with my values, if it ever did. Squeezed into this world and this system, and we are so, how do I say this? We are so molded to fit in this world or try to fit in this world that we don't see any other options besides going into the system, working 9 to 5. First of all, studying, going to college, getting a 9 to 5 job, be successful, whatever success means. And I did all that kind of young age. I quit a few years ago. And since then, I've never found myself in terms of work. I started freelancing, using my skills as a social media and content creation marketer, helping brands. But I think that what I want to do is have an impact on other people's lives and our ecosystem and our life and our planet. I'm pretty sure that's what I want to do. I just don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm pretty sure I can use my talent, my skills, my communication, storytelling skills, my need and urge to communicate with others to try to make some sort of a difference, even if it's just a small difference, even if it helps just one person. I think it's cool. Of course, I would love to have such a great impact on everyone, but I'm pretty realistic. And if I can help anyone, that would be so cool. So I'm a pretty sensitive person. I've always been. I learned how to camouflage that or to bury that part of me deep down so I could perform better at my job, at life. Try to repress this part of myself to achieve success, if you know what I mean. Whatever success is, all of us millennials grew on this culture that we needed to study, get good grades, go to college, and get out of college, get a good paying job, either by being a doctor of medicine or an engineer or whatever. You just needed to make the big bucks. And that was the definition of success for me growing up. I did just that. I hustled to get to a point where I'm not financially independent, but I was comfortable. And I really hustled hard on that. But on another note, we were talking about sensitivity and how I buried as best as I could that part of myself to perform better at my job and at life and relationships, because I thought that was the best thing to do. That sensitivity or being a sensitive person somehow made you a less of a person or a failure of some kind. I do still struggle with that, but not as much as I did 10 years ago, because I did some work on myself with therapy and stuff like that. I searched for some kind of help. But I want to give you just a couple of examples of moments in history even that my sensitivity kind of rose above and somehow affected my life and made me want to take some kind of action to even inspire what I'm trying to do now. And that first event was 9/11, 2001. Myself and most of the world saw these 9/11 attacks unfold on live television. And I know I was geographically very far away from the actual attacks, but I watched that on live television. I was at a shopping mall and I watched it. The second plane hit the second tower. We saw that on live TV. You can skip this part if you don't want to listen to it, as I do understand. We saw flames, smoke everywhere, people in windows screaming for help, people that threw themselves and fell down the building because somehow they thought that was their best option. Needless to say, you know what happened to those people. I was 15 years old or 14 years old when that happened. And those images, still today, they pop in my head from time to time. As a very sensitive person, and probably it shouldn't take a very sensitive person to know, to feel this way, but I know that I'm kind of sensitive, trying to embrace this as a strength. Those images, I only thought to myself, because we didn't know what happened at that point. We just knew it was some kind of attack. And I thought that was such a big injustice, that those people had to die without knowing what happened, or die at all, or suffer at all. And I'm not just saying the people who died, but there's a lot of things that came, because there's some people didn't die, but got trauma for the rest of their lives, have physical and consequences for the rest of their lives because of that moment. Entire families have consequences because of that moment. And I just felt a tremendous empathy. I feel tremendous empathy towards those people. Although I didn't personally go through that, I had my own experience of 9/11, me and an entire generation of people. I'm not trying to make this about me. A year later, 2002, there was this attack on a Russian theater. Sorry for my pronunciation there. The Dubrovka Theater in Moscow. There was this, again, a terrorist attack. The terrorists were a group of Chechen warriors or something like that. Please fact check this. Feel free to fact check. Always fact check. And call me out if I make a mistake. Because I'm just saying these things by heart. I researched to be sure that I had the fact, but I might not. So feel free to do that. But a year later, 2002, an attack on the Dubrovka Theater at Moscow, Russia. These people from Chechnya invaded with their firearms. They invaded this theater. There was 900 and so people. Let me just confirm this for you. I want to get things right. So there were 40 terrorists, Chechen terrorists, and there were 912 people inside a theater watching a play or a musical, something like that. And these terrorists held these people hostages for a few days. I'm not sure if it was 3 or 4 days, but they had some demands to ask to the Russian government, because the Second Chechen War was taking place, and they wanted, of course, the withdrawal of Russian military forces out of Chechen, and of course the end of the war. And so that's why they took over the theater and held those 912 people hostages. They are terrorists, but they are also a consequence of what was happening at their country. To kind of try to break those people free, the Russian law forces used what we thought or what they said was tear gas or sleeping gas. That was that. They used sleeping gas. They somehow made that go into the theater. And once the gas was there, they got in and shot terrorists that were taking over the Dubrovka theater. As a consequence of that action by the Russian police forces, security forces, whatever, 132 hostages died as well. And if it wasn't bad enough that those people had to spend 3 or 4 days being held captive by terrorists, they also had their own government throw gas inside the place they were being held captive. And that gas killed 132 people. Although some of them did have bullet wounds, they also had some physical signs on their faces, signs that they died because of the gas. The Russian government did never admit what was on that gas until later on, but people always thought that it was some kind of mixture of fentanyl. Only like in 2011 or 12 did they admit that it was in fact that mixture. We knew that something was wrong with that gas when it happened. And again, super unjust. The injustice, those people were there minding their own business, having an entertainment night, going to the theater, and first they're held hostages for a few days, and then the people that were supposed to protect them, in fact, killed them. Cruel, sad, devastating. Big injustice. Remember, I was only 15 back then, but I even say that I had some kind of a psychic. No, this is silly. This will sound silly, but I had some kind of a psychic afternoon. When this was happening, I remember that afternoon, I had what I now think it was a panic attack. Back then, we didn't know what panic attacks were. I had no idea what panic attacks were. Now that I think of it, I think it was a panic attack. I got up and I remember having these, not flashes, but I felt people running towards me and pushing me. And I didn't feel it physically. It's almost like I saw it. And later I saw the news and I discovered that the Dubrovka theater event happened. And I always associated that. So maybe this is why it's meant so much to me. Either way, I couldn't contain myself. And at 15 years old, when the internet was not the internet that we know today, there was no social media. I went online. I learned how to create a website. I hosted my own server to that website. I learned how to use Microsoft Front Page. There was a software that helped me build this web page. And I wrote about the Dubrovka theater incident. Because I felt the need to share what happened. People need to know what happened and that this is just such a huge injustice. Of course, it was not a viral thing or anything like that, but I got a few reads, family, of course, friends, teachers, people at school, basically. But I just want to tell you this story because that's how I felt. I felt the need to share that story. I wanted people to know that injustice happened, and I don't know, maybe getting people to feel the same I did. We need to be better for each other. If you clicked on this video, you saw 38-year-old lesbian. So that's me, 38-year-old lesbian, and I think I can make an impact on your life as well, especially if you're younger than me. I still believe representation matters. When I was a child or a teenager, we didn't have any representation on the media like we have today, which is awesome. But back then, the only lesbian public figure that I knew of was Melissa Etheridge. She's a North American musician, a singer, songwriter. Of course, Ellen came after that, but when I was a child growing up, I knew of her and no one else. I didn't feel like super represented, but it was a sign that I was not the only one having those feelings towards other girls. I think I might be able to help younger lesbians with my stories, with my experiences. Maybe, I don't know, if I can, I will, share that with you. Hopefully it helps in some way. It's my first video on this channel. Hope to post more soon. because I have so much going on in this brain of mine. So yes, this is my purpose with this channel, is to share experiences, life knowledge. And I'm sorry for, my English might not be fantastic, not a native speaker. It's not too bad, right? I think I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. This was a terrible video, right, guys? Was this a terrible video? The cats have no idea what just happened. They slept the whole recording. Look, they're so cute. So, see you in the next one.